In this video, I'm going to be interviewing a monk that I met at Wat Pak Nam Pasi Churun, which is the big Buddha temple near Bangkok. I chatted to him about his life, the Dharma, and I took his photos. We mainly used the Translate app to communicate, so I have done a voiceover over our dialogue. So without further ado, here is the interview. How long have you been a monk for?
25.
25.
I'm now
10 years. 10 years. What made you want to become a monk? I was ordained to repay the merit of my father and mother, and my father and mother allowed me to become ordained. I must go to the ordination ceremony at the temple, and with a large group of monks. Ordination is to compensate for the merit of the mother who gave birth, and the father is the giver of life. It is the culture of Buddhists in Thailand that repays the kindness of the father and mother. I actually found this really interesting, and I wanted to know more about ordination, so I ended up Googling it and going to Reddit, of course. I'm just going to read out the reason that monks need permission from their parents to be ordained. Let me read it out. This was actually implemented by the Lord Buddha himself. The reason is before becoming the Buddha, he was the crown prince. So he married and had a son named Rahula. So as we know, Prince Siddhartha, soon to be Buddha, left the palace understanding that life is suffering and sensual pleasures are not the reality of things. He left his wife Yashodhara and son Rahula. So eventually he did gain enlightenment, but his father, the king, was sad that he'd lost his son because he wanted the prince to become the next king. However, Buddha later visited his father and delivered a Dharma talk and made him understand the reality of things. Since his birth, Prince Rahula had never seen his father. When he asked his mother, Princess Yashodhara, what happened to his father and what wealth he inherited from him, she pointed at the Lord Buddha, who was walking by, to go meet him and ask the question from him. So Rahula did go after the Lord Buddha and tried to hold onto his hand and ask, "Father, what wealth will inherit from you?" Lord Buddha, who had let go of all of his attachments and possessions, had nothing to give his son but his wisdom. So he said, "Come, Rahula, I will show you all my wealth." So the Lord Buddha took Rahula to the monastery and ordained him as a monk. Eventually the palace got to know about this, and the king felt even more sad. He had lost his son and his grandson from his life. That is when he met the Buddha and pleaded to him that he should not allow anyone to be ordained without the acknowledgement of their parents, saying no parent should feel his pain for losing both his son and the grandson. At least they should know about it. The Buddha, being compassionate, understood what his father meant and kindly agreed to his request. That is why you will see, till this date, many traditions of Buddhism acknowledge the parent before their children are ordained as monks. Allowing your child to be ordained as a monk is considered a great letting go or renunciation by the parents. This is considered to be very good karma for the family who allow a person to be ordained as a monk. So yeah, that's the reason, guys, and I just found that so fascinating, this whole idea of ordination and getting permission and making merit to your parents. So yeah, really fascinating stuff. Anyway, there was a little side detour. I'm gonna now continue the interview. Do you think you need to become a monk to achieve liberation, or can an ordinary person achieve liberation? Ordinary people can achieve if they know how to practice Dharma to escape agony.
Samma to escape or get organic.
How does one become liberated? It depends on your mind whether you can break away from the lustful desires that are within you or not. Release attachment to things that you want, worldly desires. The Buddha taught that everything depends on our mind and whether we can let go of all things that reward us or not. Before the Buddha would attain, he thought what it means for himself to achieve. We taught to walk the road of not being too tight or too loose in practicing the Dharma. When you go to different places like temples, do you feel the energy of the place? Every religion has a separate thing. When we go to the place of religion, there will be a separate thing that preserves it. It depends on your faith and whether we can feel it or not with our own mind.
Practice breath in out แล้วก็วัดปากน้ำ practice สัมมาอรหัง
What is Samara Arahang?
yes
What is
อ๋อเขาเรียกอะไรspeak สัมมาอรหัง to my สัมมาอรหัง
mantra?
yes
Mantra.
yes
Yeah.
สัมมาอรหัง
At this temple, the ceremony is called Arahang.
Samma Arahang.
เลขไหล on topเลขไหล
I was also really curious about prayer. Being in Thailand, you see a lot of prayer, a lot of incense burning, and from my perspective, I thought it wasn't hugely related to gaining liberation, gaining enlightenment. So I wondered why it was such a big thing, and I wanted to know his perspective in it. So I asked him, why do people pray? And if it's like reading a wish list from Sansa, how are you supposed to pray? Does anybody teach it? And what does prayer mean in Thai Buddhism? It's a short sentence, but it covers everything. Praying in the morning and evening is to meet the Lord Buddha, to recite his teachings. The heart of Buddhism is to follow his teachings. I think prayer calms the mind and creates kindness. Prayer does not free us. Practicing according to the Buddha means restraining the body, speech and mind, and meditating to keep the mind calm. Concentration on daily activities, that is, being conscious of the mind, and prayer is good. But if you don't practice Dharma at the same time, it's like you can only get the bark of the tree, but not the sapwood.